Right, okay, so I've just done my previous room videos and I'm going to try and crack on with this one straight away. Um, See how I get on. Yeah, basically this is going to be my system video. So I'll crack on with it. Let's give you an overview of what it looks like. I mean, if anybody's got any questions or anything, don't be afraid to ask, or, I'm not a fountain of knowledge, but, I'm not an idiot either, so if you do sort of, I'll answer it honestly if I can. Basically, system, one of the latest upgrades I've done is some Eggleston Works. They are American made speakers, they're hand finished. I'm not 100% sure if they're done in California or not. I can't remember the exact place, but um, they are like a studio type of speaker. A lot of people use them in studios because they're very neutral in sound, and they're a very good company. I mean, these are one of the entry level speakers. They do a stand mount version of this, which is like that. Um, and they're only like £500 cheaper than these. So I thought, sod it, I'll have the floor standards. At the time, I wanted a bit more oomph. I had the PMCs before. That was the only thing lacking in the PMCs whatsoever. You had to drive them a bit harder to get any kind of solid bass performance out of them for my room and where I was. These solve the problem. Obviously, they do cost a lot more, and they do sound fantastic. So they're not bi-wireable or anything like that. It's just a single source cable in the back, and these are actually the third pair ever made, and they're called the Emmas. I don't know why they're called the Emmas, but they are. The Emma, should I say? It makes it even worse. Um, but yeah, the serial numbers on the back are indicating they're the third set ever made, and they were the first set in the UK. So really nice speakers, like a gloss grey finish. But yeah, sound really nice, and even in this small room, it's a front firing port, so there's no problem with bass resonance or boom or anything like that, which is quite good. Otherwise, I'd have to get rid of. Um, I've seen this before. If you watch my previous video, this is my Rogue Audio Sphinx amplifier. It's a hybrid amp. It's analog front end, so it's a valve sort of pre-stage front end with a digital output on the back. So it's 100 watts RMS. It's proper power. So it's capable of driving a great many speakers, and it sounds fantastic. Again, made in America. Um, it has got a very good phono stage on it. I mean, these guys do phono stages. I think they start at £1,000. I'm not saying it's that quality, but um, it's more than adequate for most people, unless you upgrade to obscene amounts. Um, I mean, I may look to upgrade it, but at the minute it holds its own with the system I've got. So very basic. Headphone output is very good because it does work with the valves. So you turn the amplifier off, the headphone output will still work, and you can still control the volume. Um, and you've got a very good headphone amp. So yeah, that is solid, and I think as far as amps go, it is really good. Moving on to this, I can't remember if this was in my last video or not. Um, this is my Musical Fidelity M6 CD player. It's not the i version, so it's not the brand new one, but I did pick this up pretty, well, a really good price, because it was an X-Display demo, when someone was basically selling off their old stock to get the new range in. But yeah, it's got an inbuilt DAC. In terms of CD player, it's fantastic. I've had Musical Fidelity stuff in the past, and it is really good. And it's software driven now, which a lot of CD players are, and sometimes that can be a bit of a shitter. The display's not the best, but it does the job. And yeah, but in terms of sound, which is the main reason, it's fantastic. My laptop goes into there. I've had Sonos into there and everything, and it works really well. So it's really good. A little town shared isolation platform as well underneath. The stand is an Atacama Europa 8. I mean, I don't think this is done anymore. But Atacama is a UK company, not far outside of Leicester. I have visited the factory, and I do know the owner and the one of the reps. Got through there, and I used to sell these. And they're very good modular units. The legs are filled with their Atabite, which is like a high density metal. So obviously sound deadening and things like that stops vibrations travelling up and down the stand. So really solid, really weighty. This is my turntable. It is a Analogs Works. It's basically a prototype. They called it the Fat Boy because they didn't have a name for it when they took it to the UK Hi-Fi show in Whittlebury. It was earlier on in the year, I think. Yeah, quite early on in the year. So Whittlebury's down near Silverstone, and basically, I had their old deck, which again was a prototype, and I was one of the first people to buy it. I was one of the first 10 to buy the turntable, and to be honest with you, I think the only thing that I didn't like about it is I'm a very very visual person, and I wanted something that was more substantial. So I said, "Can you build me something?" So they did that. Everything on this is upgraded. I mean, I think the old plinth was 7 kilos, and this, I think the base on this, the wood plinth is about 6 on this, and I think it's about 10 or 12 kilo platter. So it is absolutely a beast to move. It's about 20 kilos altogether. It's got a Ultra Extremo feet, which is a German company that do isolation performance feet for hi-fi. These are the lid 2s, which are in their reference series. On here, I've got a standard foam mat, helps with things like static and that, so doesn't tell as bad. The top 2 rings are isolation rings, so it stops any pinging or anything going through the platter, and the bottom is the drive belt. To the left is basically my weight, turntable weight, and so it's obviously just put on there when I've got my records. The arm I have is a Nottingham analog Ace arm. It's a 10-inch arm. It is phenomenal. You know, if you're ever going to try an arm, you want to try something, do give it a go. It's amazing. I had a listen to a Origin Live, similar money, and this thing wiped the floor with it. I also had a listen to a sort of 1,200, 1,300 pound SME arm, SME arm 309, and this musically was better. The SME was nice, but it was overly bright, and the cartridge I have on it is a London Decker Gold. It's a moving iron cartridge. It's not a moving magnet or moving coil. And it is a sort of UK based cartridge as well. Absolutely fantastic. I love the sound of the whole system. It really does work together well. System matching is key, people. All these items came from one dealer, so he knows that they work well, and you can listen to them all at the same time. Final piece is my Nottingham. Well, it's not a Nottingham analog. It is a Wave Mechanic, but it is a modified Wave Mechanic. The guy who originally made them for Nottingham Analog has tweaked it and upgraded it, and basically a few modifications to the turntable and a few modifications to the power supply, and it has been upgraded. So it actually runs more stable and smoother, and gives, for whatever reason, I'm just going for what he said, but I could physically hear the difference between the standard and this. And you know, it's basically, I mean, as far as things go, you know, it's a beautiful setup. Because I was in the concept of this, I managed to pick this up for a reasonable price, and eventually a version of this will go into production to be sold, and I think it's going to be a few thousand, just for the turntable and the power supply, no arm, no cartridge. So you're most probably looking 2,500, maybe more. But